Well, Henry,
you guys not entertained?
I was going to say, it started out, it was an incredible fight. It really was. First, let's just get your thoughts on your performance and how you thought the fight played out.
I thought I fought well. I mixed things up pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have to rewatch that fight. Everybody keeps telling me that I won. I don't know. Sometimes I always train to dominate. So sometimes when I don't dominate, and I'm so accustomed to that from wrestling, that's better, right? It's good like this, right? I'm so accustomed to dominating, at least from the sport of wrestling. I try to bring that same mentality into mixed martial arts. So if that's the way the judges saw it, then I'm just tripping out by that. What was it 26-30 or whatever that scorecard was? Yeah. But I know I heard him that first round. I really didn't mean to hit him in the balls a couple of times. Just he squares up with I don't know, man. I think he was trying to shoot that second time I hit him, but it was an accident. As much as I didn't like him, those are actually accidental kicks to the nuts.
We'll start there. I mean, the point deduction. I mean, what were you thinking in that moment? Because obviously in a 3-round fight, 1 point off is huge. What were you thinking at that moment? Did that kind of distract you at all, or anything from how the fight was playing out?
No, not really. I just knew that I had to go in there and scrap it out. I knew I had 2 rounds left. If they did give it to him, but I felt like I hurt him that first round. I dropped him twice. I hit him with a good overhand. I hit him with a good knee to the chin. But I don't know, man. Sometimes you don't know what the judges are thinking or what fight they're watching. But at least give it an even round, man.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of scores that had you winning. I saw a lot of scores that had at least a draw. Were you guys in your corner? Were y'all talking about it as the fight went on? And how did you guys have it scored? When that final bell sounded.
Yeah. Coach K, Alan, Captain Eric. I've always told them to be honest with me if they think I'm losing the fight, because I'll do what I got to do. I'll go for submissions. I'll do certain things. I'll take a little more risk. But no, it was nothing. They were pretty calm, composed. They're telling me to, they get extremely technical. I'm that type of guy that, be honest with me, man. If I lost a round, if I need to give more, if I need to do such and such, but it was all technical instructions. And yeah, that was it. Yeah, I'm fake.
En español para tu gente.
Did you hear that? I'm fake.
Aquí Henry en español. Lamentablemente, pues llega tu segunda derrota dentro de UFC. ¿Cómo analizas esta pelea? ¿Crees que fue justa el hecho de que te quitaron un punto?
No, pues tú cómo crees que fue la pelea, o sea, tú cómo la viste, ¿perdí o? Pero bueno, es lo que pasa, en veces accidentes. Yo he visto a gente que han tirado golpes y se han pegado ahí donde no se debe pegar, pero yo nunca he visto que tomen un punto. Fue un accidente, la verdad que les digo a la gente como no me caía bien, o sea, yo no tenía malicia de pegarle allí, pero el plan fue de tirar la patada hacia adentro y bueno, se salvó con eso. Y a lo mejor por eso fue que perdí la pelea.
I was just asking Henry if he considered it was fair deducting 1 point of the fight.
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, just to repeat my fake self in English, do I think it's fair? I says I've seen people get hit in the ball, I've seen people get eye gouged, and rarely do you see points be taken away. I think I really didn't mean, as much as I didn't like Joe, I really didn't mean to hit him in the balls. Maybe in a street fight, yes, but not in an organized mixed martial arts fight like this. And it was, they took a point, man. That's probably what cost me the fight. I don't have to rewatch the fight because everybody keeps up, even some of his personal friends keep up to me that they thought I won. Wish I recorded them for you guys. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm sad. I don't know if I'm freaking disappointed or I'm just waiting for fight of the night.
Henry, it seemed like in the first round you were winning the exchanges. You had a lot of luck pressuring him against the cage. Second round was very close. Third round, Joe may have been able to turn some of that tide and win some of those exchanges. From your perspective in the fight, did you sense any shifts in momentum toward either him or yourself at any point that you can remember?
No, not really. Not really. I felt like I hit the cleaner punches. At least At least that's what, sometimes we live in our own reality. I feel like I probably got the crisper punches, like the more straight punches. But sometimes, people that do a bunch of volume stuff, they really don't hit nothing, but maybe hit you behind the head. I think that was just maybe sometimes judges need to actually see clear, significant punches before anything. I mean, I'm beat up. He did hit me in the face, but so did I. I cut him open. I don't know. What was the question?
And
Gave the bonus to Jerry Cannonier and Ian Cutelaba the fight at night.
You have 1 and 2 man fighting. I'm not even gonna say anything, man.
one two-part question. Finally, if I think the definite winner was the flyweight division tonight. I mean, 1 and 2 put on a war like that. Question number 1 is the rivalry between the two of you and the disdain still intact? And number 2, how quickly would you like to run this back, if you would?
With Joe? I know you guys may not like this answer, but I definitely need a break from him. It was 6 months of just anticipation and wait. Who knows? Who knows what has in store? But as of now, man, I want to take a vacation. But I will say this: I do need a little break from him. I really did get tired, and it's nothing. Even if I would have won the fight, I still need a break from this guy. I really do. The Grinch.
Couple of things. I'm sorry if you answered this before we came in, but first of all, when you're standing there waiting for the scores, how sure were you that you thought you had won, or where did you think that you stood?
No, I mean, it was a close fight. Like I said, in my mind, I always think of the whole dominating side of things. So sometimes when I don't dominate, I don't feel like the winner. And that's just the mentality I've always had. Am I disappointed with the decision? I have to go back and rewatch the fight. It was a close fight. It was a close fight.
It looked early like you were fighting mad, and I don't know if that's a good thing or what you want to do, but it seemed like it, and it seemed like you were more aggressive because you were fighting mad. Do you think you were mad when you were in the first round and just kind of coming after him?
Yeah, kind of. I'm just like, man, you get sick of somebody for so long. You really do, and that's why even if they would have gave me this fight, I would have been like, dude, I need a break from this dude. I really do. So. Yeah, I think the fans would want to see this again. I think in the future we'll definitely fight again. I think we finally, for the first time, shook hands and fucking smiled at each other, rather than freaking, I'm fake, and you're fake, and you're a weasel. And I'm just glad all this stuff is kind of done.
In the last thing was you just referenced it again, but you joked about it Thursday and you joked about it again today. The fake thing really did seem to bother you.
The which one?
The fake comments did seem to bother you. It seems like it got to you a little bit.
No, not really. I mean, more so for my family, my nephews, my nieces, my brothers, my sisters. I'm a grown man, and I so much good has happened in my life, and I've been through so much that I'm extremely thick-skinned. I know what people are capable of doing, and I know what I'm capable of doing. And but it was more so for my family. If you guys really think about it, you're with somebody, they're exposing you for 6 months, and the only thing I'm trying to do is trying to be a mixed martial artist, trying to be respectful, the Bruce Lee way. And no, it was the McGregor way. And I'm just like, dude, I did not join this sport of mixed martial arts to be a big mouth, to be exposed and to be called fake. And he knows that. Deep down inside, Joseph Benavidez knows that I'm not like that, man. He just knows, man. He has some of his training partners that train with him now. But it was more so for my family. It was more so for my fans. It was more so for those people that get bullied at school. It was more so. It wasn't for me. It was for them. And I mean it, man. It kind of opened up my mind too because I like I said, man. I know it sounds redundant, but I try to go out and speak to public schools, ghetto schools out in. As much as I can, but there should be an emphasis maybe on like social media bullying or just bullying in general. But I can take it, but it was more so for them.
Henry, just to quickly go back to that point deduction. I mean, you just said that you weren't sure if it cost you the fight. I mean, technically on the scorecards, it didn't. Like, if you would give yourself the point, Joseph still would have won on the 2 scorecards. But, and you did speak about this previously, but did it do anything to your mind? Like a big fight like that, so much on the line, that early, you know that you're already digging out of a hole. I mean, psychologically, did it do anything?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that real quick?
Just psychologically, did that do anything to you to have it that early in the fight and you lose a point for two accidental kicks?
Yeah, I think the way I look at it is I had him hurt that first round, and part of it was just recovery for him. I really, the goal was because he switched his stance, and every time he would switch the lefty, take his kick out, take him out, inside leg kick. He's real heavy on that. And I listened to my corner, and we studied that, and it seemed like the second time that I hit him, he kind of got squirted a little bit. And that's what caused the second kick. The first kick, I don't know where I was kicking. So I apologize for that. I really do, man. I'm not a dirty fighter, and that's how. I think more than anything, man, I think it just shows I'm a complete mixed martial artist. I'm still growing. I've only been doing mixed martial arts for I believe 3.5 years. So I had my first pro debut. Never did amateur. Never did any of that. I'm only getting better, man. And we lost the fight, but we don't lose the lesson. And same thing with DJ. DJ's made me better. I went out to CSA. I found the best coaching possible with Coach Kieran Fitzgibbon, Captain Eric Alberison, these guys who have pretty much have gave their life to me. And a lot of that credit I owe to them. Make me cry, man. I'm fake, everybody. Tell the world.
How's everyone feeling tonight?
Better than you, I imagine.
Pretty sore.
Well, obviously, Joseph, first of all, just talk about the fight. I mean, incredibly entertaining. I think a lot of us were surprised you guys didn't get Fight of the Night
Oh
award.
my God, can you believe that? I don't even know who did, and I don't think I watched every other fight, but I feel everyone else has been telling me it was definitely deserving of that, so bummed out about that for sure.
Talk about the fight overall. I mean, I know that you weren't the biggest Henry Cejudo fan coming in, but
Yeah.
I got to imagine hearing a little bit of your respect in there tonight.
Yeah.
What did you think about the overall fight?
Yeah. As a person, of course not, but as an athlete, I always respected him, and, now more so. Guy's athletic, strong, fast, and I've always said that, he's becoming a really good fighter, but his athleticism is incredible, just his speed, his power, super strong, hard kicks and punches. So, just what I thought before, just an athletic guy, for sure. But it was an awesome fight. Felt good in there. Felt stronger as the fight went on. And, could have done 3 more rounds if we had to, 5 rounds, whatever. But, definitely started feeling stronger as the fight went on.
I saw a lot of scores all over the place. People really know how to score it. I wonder what you and your team, I mean, when the final bell sounds, you're going up there for the result. What did you guys think?
Yeah, my coaches are straight up with me. They would never, tell me otherwise, and my friends and everything, and they told me I probably lost the first round, but it was a tie, and then that I won the second 2. So, yeah, that was pretty much how it was scored, I guess. As far as like the winning card, had me up 2-1, and then the other ones I think they had us both 3-0. So toss those ones out because they're both bad scores if they gave us one of us each 3 rounds. But I think the deciding scorecard, the one where I won 2 rounds and he won 1 with the point away, was the right choice.
He said, as great as the fight was, as much as he thought he won, that he doesn't want a rematch right away. He needs a break from you and some space. But what do you think? I mean, do you think this is a guy that you'd like to? I mean, that you'd like to fight again, to maybe put an exclamation point on it and make sure there's no discussion about it?
For sure, yeah. I'll fight whoever again. It was a fun fight and it was a challenging fight. It was a lot. It was one of those fights that right when you're done, it's like, oh man, there was this opening, there was that opening. I've had 2 more rounds. It was just getting. Kind of going and seeing some things that would have landed. So, yeah, that's always cool. And, he's pretty much starting his career almost. So, he's going to be around for a while. So will I. So, that's always going to be there. That was definitely the best him. And I think, what people, what I can take from it is, his last fight was a loss to Demetrious. And it's cliche, but you get so much better after a loss. So you think I saw it like, he was the best version of himself tonight, and it was awesome. I was glad to go in there and compete against him.
And lastly, for me, I know you don't get caught up with title shots and things like that.
Yeah.
But after beating that guy, you're clearly the #1 guy in the division.
For sure.
Demetrious, of course, hangs on to the belt. I mean, will you lobby? Will you ask and press for another chance at Demetrious Johnson?
Yeah, I've said it in all my interviews post-fight thus far. That's the only fight I want. Go for the title. I have 6 wins in a row. There's no other fight that I want. I lost to the guy twice. Like, how could, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, I don't want that fight. And, people say I lost twice, but it's like me and Demetrious could fight 1,000,000 times. It's going to be 1,000,000 awesome competitions between 2 world-class fighters. So, let us go at it again. Him and Tim's fight was awesome tonight. And, that's exactly how I feel is, of course, that's the fight I want. That's the only fight I want. And, we could fight 1,000,000 times. It'd be awesome every fight in a competitive contest between 2 of the best fighters. So, yeah, let's get after it.
Joe, it seemed like that you were able to make some positive adjustments in terms of the striking exchanges from round 1 where he was having success to the 3rd where you started coming on. Was that how it played out in your mind? Did you have that same sense of the momentum?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the more experienced fighter, and I'm going to have pretty much better cardio than anybody as the fight goes on. So, yeah, it just started becoming more clear to me, as it happens. You make those adjustments, because you've seen all that stuff, and that's what an experienced fighter do. So, I think someone came back and were like, you out-veteran him tonight. Like, you were the experienced fighter, you got better as it went on. You made adjustments, and he kind of kept doing the same thing. And yeah, that's definitely somewhere where I saw like that I had an advantage was those X factors. He's a great athlete. He's fast. He's strong. But my fight IQ, is just a little higher than his, and like little things like that, little intricate details that it takes to win at the top levels. I knew I was gonna start seeing more things, and that's kind of how I always fight. Just like even my last fight with Makovsky was into the third round where I like started getting his timing and his takedowns and everything down. Where I was like, oh, 2 more, let's do this. So yeah, always gonna get stronger as the fight goes on, I feel.
With the flyweight division being one of the newer divisions, one thing it hasn't really had yet in its history is a lot of storied rivalries. It hasn't really had its Edgar Maynard yet. Based on the closeness of this fight and its compelling nature, could you maybe see if this gets run back one more time, maybe even again, that you guys could maybe be on a path to that kind of history together?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, for sure. We're two, number 1 and 2 in the division. This fight was awesome, and once again, you get 2 guys in there that are world class. I mean, you can have them fight as many times as you want. They're going to be awesome fights, and this one just even, would make it better. I mean, obviously the Ultimate Fighter and all that stuff helped. The fight, definitely helps. So, if it happens down the road, I'm ready. Let's get after it.
And lastly, as someone who has not only fought Tim Elliott, but also had him on your team, I don't know if you had a
Love
chance
that
to
guy.
watch his fight or not, but if
Yeah.
you did, what were your thoughts on that performance tonight?
I loved him. Love watching that guy in his first run in the UFC, all the way through the show, and now back. And I'm proud to know him now on a deeper level. After the Ultimate Fighter and having trained with him like the last 4 weeks, just respect that guy and his style and his mentality as a fighter so much. After the fight, he said, I might have lost when the 5 rounds ended, but if this fight went to the death, I'd beat everybody. And I wholeheartedly believe that. The guy would never stop. So I knew he was going to go in there, and I said in all my interviews he was going to give Demetrious hell. And he does that. That's what Tim does. He goes out and hangs his balls out there regardless, and he's always himself. He's not going to, make adjustments for this or that. He's going to go for the guillotine, go for the finish, and like I said, he hang his balls out there for the most part. And that's what you got to love about a guy like Tim. So it's always awesome to watch him fight, and I'm super happy that he got this opportunity to fight. And, everyone knew how good he was going in, but you just went in there and saw him fight one of the best guys in the world. And competitive contest, almost had him in the first round there. And then Demetrious just made some adjustments. And like I said, Tim is going to continue to fight his fight and keep his flow. And they said during the broadcast, like, this guy's crazy. He's fooling around out there against the best guy in the world, but that's just how he operates. And like I said, knowing him on a deeper level now, I respect that and his style anymore. That's just the way that he lives. He grips it and he rips it.
Joseph, 2 questions if I could. Number 1, how much do you think Tim's size was a factor against Demetrious? You've been in there with him, and Demetrious isn't a tall guy. And do you think the length that Tim had made a difference?
Yeah, Tim's a big flyweight, and that made a difference. He's super strong, and very big. And the other thing is, you can be a big person for like 1 round, and then it kind of starts to backfire on you. The speed kind of takes over, the timing, the cardio. But Tim is big, and he will not get tired at all. He can, like I said, he would have went 10 rounds, until one of them died. So not only is he big, he has the cardio to back that up. So, I knew that would be a good thing, and he went out there and implemented his size for a while. But Demetrious does what he does, and, goes out and gets it done, proves he's, the best.
And given how the last fight with you and Demetrious ended, obviously, it'd be incumbent on you to make the adjustment back. Did you see anything tonight in what Tim did, how Tim fought him, that I know you're different fighters, but was there anything that he was able to do that you think you might be able to take advantage of?
Yeah, I mean, you see, every time you go out and, see Demetrious fight, or me especially, you always have to look at little things that, little weaknesses and, tendencies and stuff that he has. So, Tim definitely showed it. It's always nice to be able to go out and see Demetrious fight 5 rounds, because you can get just a little more of a touch on him and what he does and how he operates. So, yeah, obviously I was watching tonight, very excited. So I'll have to go back with my coaches and other people and watch a little more to see what we can really take out of that fight from what Tim implemented. Make him good.
Joe, they obviously asked you about Tim, but I wanted to ask you about Brandon Moreno. You were with
Love that guy.
you were with him in Portland. So what did you see tonight from him?
I love that kid. What a lunatic. Just awesome. So fun. Same thing with him. So cool. Getting to know him like on a deeper level. Like watching him as a fighter and a peer, you kind of are going to be like, that kid's awesome. Like I'd like to get to know him, and getting to know him and training with him the last 4 weeks too. That kid's awesome. I think he's a future champion. He's 22 years old. Incredibly talented and hardworking. And he went out there and showed it tonight. He has heart, the skill at 22 years old, and still getting better. So, just love that kid, and just excited for his future. Proud to know him and train with him.
You mentioned working with Tim and kind of rooting for him and being excited for him. But at the same time, if he wins, that probably sets your chances at a title shot back. Probably a rematch, holds up the division a little bit. How do you kind of balance how you're watching the fight, knowing you probably need Demetrious to win to get the title shot next?
Yeah. You can't control that stuff. I trained with Tim. I wanted him. It's not necessarily about wins or losses. It's for in that realm, I wanted Tim to go out and perform, and have a good fight and have fun. And that's something I learned kind of on the show is like you can only control your one thing that you're doing. Can't control the other man or the judges or whatever. You can do that. So I knew the options of him winning and the options of him losing, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm not going to control that. So I just hope Tim goes out there and has an awesome fight, and people love him and respect him and are drawn to him as much as I am after the fight. And I think he went out and did that, and showed a lot of people what he's all about. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Did I get some awesomes in there?
Well, Tim, of course, came up short of what you wanted to do, but getting a lot of praise. I think people were really impressed with your performance tonight and just, how tough and durable you were in there. A few minutes after the fight, of course, probably letting it all sink in a little bit, but what is the emotion right now?
I did exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out and put on a show and have fun, and, I did that. That's all I ever want to do.
Talk about the opening round because, you really brought it to him. That's probably the most trouble we've ever seen Demetrious in, and it seemed like, at least from our perspective, the chokes that you had were very, very tight. Did you feel that they were enough to finish, and how do you think he was able to survive?
He was able to survive because he's a true vet. He's the best in the world. They were tight, but, that's just the way it goes. You don't always get what you're going for. But, again, I felt like when he was really trying to hurt me and really trying to fight me, I was winning. And he stopped trying to fight me and started trying to stifle me. So it quit being a mutual fight and started being him just trying to stop me from doing my stuff. So it kind of stagnated me a little bit. I got to get some urgency from bottom. I learned a lot from this fight, and I'll be ready to go again soon.
After that fast start, as you said, he did make the adjustments. He showed his veteranness, his tactician, as you called him, ahead of time. What was going through your mind as kind of rounds were slipping away and piling up in his favor?
I try not to think too much. That's not my strong suit. I just got to listen to my coaches better in the corner. James Krause was telling me, get up, quit going for the guillotine. But, the name of the game is knock him out or submit him. And in my opinion, if you're not trying to knock him out or submit him, you're not playing the game right.
Where do you feel like you should go from here? Because, of course, this is your second run in the UFC. And, you have had some losses, but then you have this amazing performance against Demetrious Johnson. So what do you think should come next for you?
I'd like to go up to 35. I think that the weight cut killed me. I I really struggled in this weight cut. The morning of the weigh-ins, I was hurting pretty bad. The first time I've ever told my coaches I was done, I told James Krause I wasn't going back in the sauna. Told him I would give up the 20%. I didn't care about the belt. He made me get back in there. He made me cut the weight. I appreciate that he did that. But everything about this sport is fun for me. I do it because it's fun. It doesn't pay that well. So I feel like I could really compete at 35, and I'll do better there when I feel good and I feel strong. I was hurting after the first round, not my cardio, but my muscles, my stomach. I was cramping a little bit, and I know that's from the weight cut.
When you put your hands on your knees, you were tired.
Oh, no. Well, I was talking a little trash in the first round, which totally isn't my style, and I was trying to taunt him. That was part of the plan. But man, he's the best. There's no doubt about it.
Tim, did you feel in any way, even though you lose the fight, like the winner of this, the crowd was cheering your name in the 5th round, the place was going nuts, and, that doesn't happen a lot in Demetrious fights?
Yeah, man, I think that I'm a fighter for the fans. I'm not wearing girl pants and talking trash. I'm fighting. I'm trying to have fun. I want to get fans through fighting, not through anything else. A lot of people, it's not the fight game anymore. It's the entertainment game, but it's not to me. I love to fight. I have fun fighting, and nothing makes me happier.
You hear a lot of people in MMA say you never know what could happen. People look at your record and say, how could this guy possibly be? Joe Rogan called Demetrious on the video before the fight inarguably the greatest fighter of all time. What is it about this sport that leads guys like you, who maybe haven't been doing as well record-wise, to be able to be competitive with a great fighter like Demetrious?
Again, they're making it a martial arts contest and a sport, and when it comes down to it, when the cage door shuts, it's an ass-kicking contest, and I can kick some ass. So that's what I like to do. I like to take the martial arts out of it and make it a fist fight.
Tim, question for you. There was a moment where Demetrious pinched your nose in the fight, and you kind of laughed at that. Was that just? Can you talk about that moment and were you surprised at what he did, and just talk about that a little bit?
No, man, I laugh because that's the kind of stuff I do. I love that. I love the grimy, dirty stuff. I think that's great. I think there should be more of that in the sport. Again, it's a fist fight. It's not a martial arts what other type of martial arts do you plug somebody's nose and try to stop their breathing with your hand? That only happens in a fist fight. So I love that shit. I live for that. I think it's great that he's trying that. I think it's good for the sport. Let's make it grimy.
You mentioned earlier this week that you weren't sure what the future would hold for you after this fight. Did you talk to Dana? Have you secured a UFC contract?
No, he told me I wasn't going anywhere. But, I got told that before. Sean Shelby told me after my John Dodson fight that if I fight like that, I'll always have a job in the UFC. And then, a couple fights later, I was cut. But, I don't really care too much about that. If they don't want me here, then I can get fired again and I'll go fight somewhere else. I'm going to fight no matter what. I love it. Doesn't matter if it's for the UFC or anywhere else. I'm going to go out, and I'm going to go out on my shield and give it everything I got. Thank you, guys.
Well, Demetrious, if somebody was to just look at the scorecards, it would look like just another dominant victory for you, the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. But this was an incredibly entertaining fight, and you were in some tough positions early on. Can you talk about just, how you thought this fight played out versus your expectations and what it felt like in there?
Yeah, the first round was a little tough. Tim Elliott's a little crazy animal. The first round, when he had the guillotine and going for the guillotine, switch it to the Darce choke. You know, I looked at Herb Dean and I was like, don't you stop it, dog. I'm good. And he goes, no, I got you. I see you. You're fine. And just doing the hand fighting. And he was really, I mean, that's what people have to do. They got to try to get on me, smother me. When I had him in a clinch and he was throwing all those shots, just doing all this wild shit, it was just like, okay, it's fine, fine. Dotson kind of did the same thing when we fought the second time. Like, hit me in the stomach, and I'm like, kid doesn't hurt. That's not doing anything. It's nothing really damaging. Other than that, there's nothing really in a fight where I was like, oh my God, this is actually gonna hurt or something. So, I mean, it might look worse, but all the stuff to the top of the head and the side of the head doesn't hurt.
Interesting. You know, obviously you and your trainer are known for working in tandem and being a great team. Can you talk about what I mean, were there any major key adjustments that were made between round one and on? Because, you know, after that first round, you basically dominated the positioning.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Matt came back. He goes, okay, stop sticking your head where you need to, hand fight immediately, and pass guard. And then right in the beginning of the fight, when he went for the Kimura, you know, I was throwing submissions out left and right. But that was the biggest adjustment, is that, okay, when you shoot, hand fight, pass guard, and start isolating the arm.
And I know that you ultimately just leave it up to the UFC to say who comes next, but you know, here you are, you're inching up on the record of Anderson Silva. You've basically cleaned out the division. You did see Joseph Benavidez pick up a big win tonight. I mean, is there a name? Is it Joseph? Does that interest you? Is there any other name? I mean, what does make sense? Because I mean, they just had a reality show to find another competitor for you. Is there anything that makes sense to you?
Yeah, you know, that Joseph and Henry Cejudo fight, you know, it was a close fight, man. I mean, I gave it almost a draw. I think that nut shot gave Joseph that split decision. But it's up to, you know, the UFC. Sean Shelby did an amazing job grabbing, you know, all the champions from other organizations to bring in the UFC. So Tim Elliott, he brought the fight, and I'm sure Sean Shelby has something up his sleeve, and my job is to go back to the gym and, you know, coming off an LCL, grade 2 injury, get back in the gym. I'm going to let my knees heal, and we'll see what's next.
Congratulations, Demetrious. It seems like, you know, tonight, and it's early, but a lot of people are like looking at this as like it was a tough fight for you, and yet, you know, like John mentioned, the scorecards weren't that tough. Do you agree with that? I mean, before this narrative gets going and people talk about this fight more, like, what did you think? Was this one of, if not your toughest title defense?
You know, when you look at it, the first round, yeah, it was tough. But after that, I made my adjustments, was able to take him down and out-grapple him. You know, sometimes, you know, being the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, you can't just go out there and blow people out the water on the feet or in the clinch. You got to display all sides of mixed martial arts, and that's what I did tonight. You know, he was a bigger guy, able to take him down. I had him in almost a choke, arm bar, straight arm lock. So, yeah, I mean, I felt the fight wasn't close. I felt the first round like he did a good job, but after that it was, you know, you take away that guillotine or whatever, then all you have is just that stuff. And other than that, it was, you know, just bumps and bruises on my forehead.
And when you're talking to Herb and telling him like I'm fine, did you know that there was no adjustment that he could make, that you were safe? It just probably looked bad. I mean,
Yeah,
you knew
safe.
early on.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Herb and I was really like, I was looking at Herb in his face. I was like, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I've been here before. I've been in tough situations when I fought Dotson the first time. He dropped me twice in the first round. I was like, okay, that's blood. I'm fine. Okay, what else are you going to do? You know, I mean, it was a great first round for Tim Elliott. Then once I made my adjustments, it was downhill for him.
And then, you know, your next fight will be with a lot of historical implications on the line. You're not a guy who, well, you would tie Anderson Silva, his streak.
Go on.
Okay. It looks like you were confused, like you didn't know what I was talking.
Yeah, I was a little confused, but go on.
I mean, you're not a guy who asks for anything specific, but do you have any ideas of where or when that historical fight should happen?
Oh, when I tie it?
Yeah.
Vegas. Always Vegas. I love Vegas.
Why is that?
Same time zone. Stuff's open. I mean, I'm about to go get some food, and it's 11:30 at night. I have no desire to fight in East Coast. I don't feel like fighting at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I've always loved fighting in Vegas, and I'll choose Vegas on any place around the world.
I know when you were answering John's question, you kind of said, hey, your job is just go to the gym, get ready, whoever they put in front of you, it's their job to find you somebody. Is there anything that excites you, though? And is it important to have something that excites you, to have something out there that motivates you?
I'm a self-motivator. You know, I didn't get in this sport to become a world champion. I got in this sport to become a better mixed martial artist. And a long time ago, Matt might not remember this, Matt was like, if your goal is to become champion, you're lost. He goes, I can offer you way more than becoming a champion. I was like, interesting. Let me find out what this path leads me to. And this is basically the byproduct of me always learning, pushing myself, and want more for myself.
It might be tough to remember maybe specific things from the fight, but at the end of the fourth round, I think he did like a half cartwheel type kick at you right at the end of the round, and you just stepped back and gave him like a weird look. Do you remember that look and what you were thinking at that time?
I was like, oh, here's this bullshit. I was like, that's what I look at. Like, I mean, it's nothing against him or anything, but in my mind, like, you can't get caught up in that atmosphere where people are the fans like, yeah, Tim, you're fucking slapping back in the head, you're doing all this. I'm just like, just not doing anything. You're not crossing distance. You're turning your back sideways, and he's trying to get me caught up. And then at one point, I got away from what I do well, is keep my rhythm. But then my coach was like, just dude, it's fine. He's doing that stuff because he can't, cross the distance, throw the elbow, get the knees off. He has to do that stuff to get you there. So I was just like, that's fine. And then once I got him down, I was like, okay, pass guard. And then Herb Dean, I was in side control, and Herb Dean goes, you got to get out of there you got to get out of that position, DJ. And I was like, Herb, I'm in fucking side control, bruh. I was like, this is not checkers, this is chess. Tim needs to get up. Like, I'm on top, and he's holding me down, and you're telling me I need to move. I'm like, no, bruh, that's not how it works. So, I'm just focused. And when he did that, I was just like, so.
Demetrious, this is kind of a follow-up to that. Right before Tim left, he talked about how he wanted to make it a dirty fight, and he said, no, I'm not a martial artist, I want to fight, it's a fist fight, and you're, the epitome of a true martial artist. Do you think that since this was like a battle of philosophies in a lot of ways, that maybe you proved that the real martial artist way is the better way?
I would absolutely agree. I was able to neutralize him on the ground, not get caught up in that fist fight, and just take him down and basically manhandle him, the bigger dude, the taller dude. So that's what I went out there to do, and it worked out perfect.
You went for a large amount of submissions tonight, Demetrious. How much of it was, in terms of him ultimately eluding them, was his physicality, his size, and how much of it was maybe just the unorthodox style? You didn't seem to have a problem, applying him or anything like that, but obviously that was part of what he was able to do to make this last as long as it did.
Yeah, I was going for the finish. I worked too damn hard in the gym to not go for finishes. So once he grabbed that Kimura, I was like, here comes the armbar. I went for it. And then once I had the guillotine, it's going for the guillotine, the choke. And I was just trying to finish. I don't come in here and try to lane pray and like, well, that's fine. No, I was trying to finish this man.
This was an incredible night for the flyweight division. You retain your title, continue toward breaking Silva's record, but you also had an absolute war between two former opponents, the number 1 and the number 2 ranked flyweights, and an incredible underdog story like your opponent, and then also even Brandon Moreno, on earlier in the night, looking like a real up-and-comer. So as the goalkeeper of the division, do you look at that and like what you're seeing, not only for your own trajectory, but also the future of the division after a night like tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I think those guys really showcase what the flyweight division is all about, with Brandon Moreno, Joseph Benavidez, Henry Cejudo. Not just those guys, but the whole entire show. People say these are probably the best fights that we've ever seen in a Tough 24. I think it just shows that when you actually go out there and get guys who are professional fighters and actually champions from different organizations, Titan, Legacy, Axis, or RFA, whatever they have, you're going to have a great group of guys. And look what the byproduct was. You had Tim Elliott, getting there with me.
DJ, you said that Matt told you if your objective was to get the belt, then you're on the wrong path. And he'd show you the path. So when you get done with and go home tonight, is the belt that makes you happy, or what is it that you sit down and that satisfies you?
Oh, man. Being healthy, going home, and get back in the gym and continue to learn. Like, that's what's satisfying me. I don't like to be injured. I always like to, better my mind and just get better. The belt's cool. Don't get me wrong, the belt's awesome and all that stuff, but I don't hang my head over that. Like, I like learning. I like understanding why this works and why this doesn't work, and how can I transfer energy from my body to do certain things.
Is part of that finding the right opponent to kind of stretch your ability? Do you feel like you need to find that person?
No, not at all. I felt tonight like I showed grittiness, making adjustments during the fight. I feel tonight after the first round, everything was dominant. Like I felt on the ground, I was able to, you know, Tim's tough. I mean, he fights, you know, he likes to push. And I think sometimes as a champion, you need to have those fights so you can show that you can overcome certain things. If I went there and he just laid down like a dog and let me finish him or whatever, then I don't think that shows a lot of class that I can pull to these 5-round fights and I can show dominance and make adjustments and go back to my corner after first, you know, crazy wild round. Matt's like, okay, this is what you got to do, because not all my fights are going to be like that. I might have to, you know, 4 rounds down, and I might come back and to the corner. Matt's like, all right, you got to go. You got to make the best adjustments. You got to get your shot and knock him out. So, I mean, I'm very satisfied with my performance tonight, and I think, you know, after that first round, I mean, you guys heard the scorecards, 49-46. I mean, sounds like 4 out of 5 is pretty damn good if you ask me. Goodbye.
Too good. He lands one. Head kick. Oh my God. Big power punches. Oh, head kick. Look at these guys. Oh, he got caught.